Hello, welcome to my video. Now, first things first, please excuse the headset. I am currently saving up for a microphone that I can actually use that sounds good, but currently this is kind of the best I've got. I was thinking about recording into my phone, but I am not so sure at the moment. Anyway, today I'm going to be talking about a band that I actually know personally. I've actually known them since I was a teenager. Since we were all teenagers, we were part of the same friend group. Now, the reason I'm making this video is in fact because I heard some of their music very, very recently, some of their most recent releases, and I was proper surprised. You know, it just blew me out of the water. And after hearing their latest releases, I thought I definitely need to make a video on you guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and in the comments let me know any music related videos you want me to make in the future. Anyway, here we go. Damaged are a 5-piece hardcore punk band from Cambridge in East Anglia. The band consists of drummer Luke Green aka Tweak, bassist Dan Tate, guitarists Aston Brooke and Harry Lowe, and vocalist Luke Sweetman. Since they began roughly in 2010, they have officially released 2 EPs, although they have released plenty of stuff prior to that which you can check out. Their first EP, Snakes and Diamonds, was released in 2016, and their second, The Earth Turns As We Cease to Exist, in June 2020, which was approximately 1 month ago. Now, for a relatively small band like Damaged, they have performed with some pretty impressive names in the punk world, notably supporting bands such as Vice Squad, Anti-Nowhere League, and GBH. Those are some pretty big names. So as mentioned, Damaged were first formed in 2010 after Dan Tate left his previous band. Spoiler, that was actually my band. Dan and his mate Luke wanted to put together a punk band, so they went on the hunt to find some musicians. One evening they went to a party, where apparently they were drunkenly asking everyone if they knew a drummer. Turns out, somebody did, and that drummer was at the party. They started chatting to Tweak, and from that night onwards, Damaged had a drummer. They started writing music as a 3-piece, but after a little while they decided to bring in 2 more guitarists. Over the years they've gone through several lineup changes, as well as a brief 2-year hiatus. But now, it looks like they've settled. Anyway, I'm going to start talking about the band's music now. So Damaged began as a gritty, raw and somewhat enthusiastic garage band. They would primarily focus on writing some pretty intense hardcore punk music, which sounded very reminiscent of the punk scene from the late 70s, early 80s. An example of this gritty rawness is featured in the music video to the track No Control. Not only is it appropriately shot in someone's garage, but I think that they pretty much nail the hardcore punk vibe on the head. It's fast-paced, aggressive, and extremely raw. It has a pretty typical punk song foundation. 3-chord repeating guitar riff, double-time drum beat, and a heavy sort of metallic bass tone. The most prominent part of this track, in my opinion, is Luke's outrageously raspy fry vocals. You can definitely tell he has taken a huge inspiration from Frank Carter from Gallows, and possibly someone like Mike Meyer from Suicidal Tendencies.
Stupid idiot!
In 2016, a few years after No Control, Damage released their EP Snakes and Diamonds. In this record, you can definitely tell they are beginning to develop as a band. Their musicality had certainly improved in this record. The guitarists were becoming a little more adventurous. Tweak was adding a few more embellishments in his drumming, not forgetting to mention that their production quality had vastly improved. My favourite track on this record is track number 4, named Filth. It keeps the hardcore style very strong, but you can tell they are starting to approach a heavier sound here. There is sort of a mini half-time breakdown about 2/3 of the way through the song, which as a metalhead, that is definitely something you can headbang to. Earlier on this year, they released their most recent EP, The Earth Turns As We Cease to Exist. This is a proper good record. Now this EP is the point in which I believe Damage have finally found their sound. It feels like they have let go of some of the rules of punk. That's an oxymoron, isn't it? Gone are the days of just playing punk music. They are playing by their own rules. Generally speaking, this record is much heavier than their previous entries. They have dropped their tunings down to drop C, my favourite tuning. I think this gives a real darkness to it. They also begun incorporating more melodic guitar sections and heavy halftime drumming. To me, it kinda sounds like they are verging towards the realms of metalcore. Saying that, however, it is evidently clear that they still have their roots in hardcore punk. It is also very clear that they have further developed in their musical and songwriting abilities, and they aren't afraid to push the boat out when it comes to experimenting with new ideas. For example, at the end of the second track, I Can't Breathe, it has a massive, almost Architects-style outro which hits you with an absolute massive wall of sound. Combining this with the extremely dark subject matter of the song, you can definitely feel the sense of frustration and sadness that the song is trying to portray, especially with Luke's vocals, which haven't necessarily changed over time, but the quality in his voice improves record after record, especially his clean vocals. Disclaimer, none of what I have said is to bash their older stuff. I'm simply comparing the old to the new and acknowledging the development. Not gonna lie, this whole EP hits you like a freight train. Not to mention, guitarist Harry is the producer on this album. He has done a phenomenal job. Now, there are two main reasons why I think this band are awesome. One, their music is gritty, hard-hitting, and really brings the old school punk vibe back to life, all while constantly developing and refining their sound. Number two, this band to me represents some of the most important parts of my own musical life, as well as millions of other aspiring musicians around the world. Now, I have known most of the band since we were teenagers. The starting point reflects when myself and millions of other teenagers started playing music in their parents' garage. Getting your mates together with a bunch of instruments and just having a blast playing music. Whether it was good or bad, it doesn't matter. It's just the experience of creating music that was awesome. But now I can sit here at the age of 27 and listen to how much these guys have grown over the years. Remembering the old days and thinking, holy shit, you guys really have come a long way. I can kind of picture their timeline in my head. I can see them at the beginning where it was just a bunch of teenagers putting a few chords together, and over time growing into what I think are fucking good musicians. Anyway, I hope you guys check this band out, and I'll leave all of their links in the description. Anyway, there you go guys, that is the band Damaged. Now, as I've said, I actually know these guys personally, and I haven't made this video because they're my friends. I'm literally making this video because they recently released music and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. So, I highly recommend you go and check them out. Anyway guys, that's the end of the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I guess I will see you on the next video. Take it easy.